Hello, my name is Corey Redderkopp, and I'm the CEO here at the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce. And thank you for watching one of our candidate interviews in advance of the 2025 federal election coming up on April 28th. We've invited each of the candidates in the three Langley ridings to come do some video one-on-ones with the Chamber to introduce themselves to our community and to discuss the priorities that they want to address if they represent us in Ottawa. These videos are going to be posted unedited to our website at langleychamber.com and shared through our communication channels in the lead up to Election Day. So today I'm joined by Vanessa Sharma, who's running in the riding of Cloverdale-Langley City to represent the NDP. Vanessa, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, appreciate you taking the time. And did you want to maybe kick us off and share just a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of what motivated you to run in this election?
Oh, I think this is my favorite question. What motivated me to run in this election and to continue on with politics is my mom. So I lost my mom about 5 years ago now due to mental health, and I've been a mental health advocate and anti-racism activist and a union activist as well over the last 5 years. And we are at the point now because we've been advocating for mental health so much where we are looking at getting bridge guards across BC. So currently, the new Patello Bridge is going to get safeguards on the bridge. They're also going to put in 10 crisis hotlines. So if you are having a mental health crisis, you can pick up one of those phones and someone will be on the other end and help will come to you. So you don't feel like you're alone. There'll also be proper lighting and signages. And it's nice because had been any elected official just advocating for safeguards on bridges, then there's a good chance that my mom would still be here. And now I have that opportunity to make sure that no one else goes through what we went through and that mental health is broken down and it's not a stigma anymore. So that's the whole reason why I'm running, is because I don't want to see anybody else fall through the cracks, because I know what that's like firsthand.
I appreciate you sharing that with us and for putting yourself forward. Elections only work if we have people on the ballot, so appreciate you doing that. I think one of the I'll kick us off here. And one of the top issues or the top issue for businesses, and I'm sure it's the same issue you're hearing on the doorsteps from families here in Cloverdale-Langley City, is the cost of living, the cost
Yeah.
of everything.
Yes.
And for our members, yeah, the cost of doing business is a huge issue. So what would you do, or what's your perspective and your approach if you were to go to Ottawa, representing us and with the NDP to fight and to lower the cost of living, the cost of doing business, the costs that are facing everyday families and businesses here in Cloverdale-Langley City.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you are right. I'm hearing that across the board. Whether you're in a business or not, affordability is the number one issue. So to tackle the affordability housing crisis, the NDP plans to utilize the crown land that is not being used to build affordable homes and co-ops, because I don't see why not. There's so many folks that are unhoused because they just can't find affordable housing, and there's also folks that can't afford rent anymore and that are being pushed out. I was one of those folks included where the rent cost was just too much and I had to be pushed out of Cloverdale. So to be able to utilize that crown land to build affordable homes is huge on its own. And I don't like hearing from our small businesses that they're striving. I've heard from so many small business owners that they actually go and work a second job or another full-time job to make sure that they can keep their doors open and that their staff can get paid. Well, that doesn't, I don't like hearing that. Like what person wants to hear that their small business is just surviving or just struggling? Because small businesses are quite literally the backbone of our economies. So what I think should happen is that we do need to raise the taxes on the ultra rich and then bring that back into our small businesses and reinvest into them, because the more and more small businesses that close, the less jobs are created. And so that's just a vicious cycle that'll continue going on if we don't support our small businesses, especially in times like this.
No, thank you for that. And I'm going to pick up. You mentioned kind of touch on a little bit of housing there, and that kind of I think is a big driver of the cost of living challenge is affordable housing, and
Mhm.
which is an issue for families, and again, it's an issue for business because if your workers can't live anywhere near your business, it's going to be hard to find them. So um,
Exactly.
what is your approach and your party's approach? You mentioned, I think, co-ops there. Do you have anything else you wanted to expand on or speak around housing affordability? How do we tackle this problem that we seem to have been talking to the last 10 or 20 years and just seems to be
Mhm.
getting worse?
It is getting worse. And that's the problem, right? Like during COVID, the interest rates were so low where most folks did take out a loan, whether it was for their business or for their redoing their mortgages. And then all of a sudden the interest rate skyrocketed. And a lot of folks are still trying to pay those debts off. Well, what's the I don't like that, right? Like no one wants to hear that. And a lot of folks have also lost their homes because they couldn't afford to pay back their mortgage rates anymore. So by utilizing that crown land, we're able to control how much the rent cost is and how much it's go if anyone wants to buy it, we get to control that, right? So we get to control that. It makes sure that it stays affordable, because that's the one thing, right? Like we see developers time and time again quote like wanting to build affordable homes, but the moment that it sells, it's not affordable, and that it's not affordable to buy, except if you're top part of the 1%. And then it's not affordable to rent either. So I'm like, by utilizing the crown land, we can make sure that these affordable homes and these co-ops and anything else in between stay affordable. That's the main part there, that it needs to stay affordable. And then also for first time home buyers, we also have a plan for that to make sure that the rates stay low, and the rent control cap, because since 2015 rents have gone up by 30%, and it's just going to keep rising if we don't put rent caps on.
Okay, and I guess related to housing. I mean, you're in Cloverdale-Langley City, one of the fastest growing parts of the region, parts of the province. I mean, Langley is I think the second fastest growing community in all of BC. So going hand in hand with housing element of that would be the infrastructure. I mean, you can build housing, but you also need not just the under the ground
Yep.
water and sewer, the community infrastructure, the rec centers, the schools, the you mentioned healthcare at the beginning, the healthcare facilities. What is your approach and the NDP's approach to what the federal government should be doing in this space, and kind of what role they have in ensuring that fast growing communities like Langley have the community infrastructure that they need to be livable?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, not even just Cloverdale, Surrey in its entirety, it's going to be the next Vancouver in 5 years. Like, we all see it coming. We've all heard it being said that that is going to happen. So, how do you do that, right? Especially around healthcare. Wait times right now are so long, and there's so many folks that don't have a family doctor. So, the more and more folks are coming here, there's going to be less and less folks that, like I said, have family doctors. So, one of our plans is to streamline that process by 2030. Those 7 million folks that don't have a family doctor will be able to have a family doctor, because we have so many talented folks that are coming into Canada from other parts of the world that aren't able to practice here, but they have the exact same training, sometimes even better. And why aren't they allowed to practice? So by us streamlining that process for doctors and for nurses, the wait times will get lower. People will be able to have family doctors, which is huge right now, because I know so many people, like myself included, I don't even have a family doctor. So to be able to have one in like 5 years as Surrey is growing is a huge thing.
Well, and we're segueing nicely between these questions here, because I think you mentioned on the immigration piece, and yeah, that's going to be obviously a source for a lot of our workforce going forward.
Mhm.
But over the last year, we have seen kind of a number of significant changes to how the immigration system works, how we handle both permanent immigration, but also temporary immigration, international students and temporary foreign workers. What are your thoughts on how we should be building an immigration system that works for newcomers, works for the community, works for business? And what are your thoughts on the immigration system as a whole?
Well, I think the immigration system is broken, and it is, right? Like before, it was when my family came here, it was a lot different compared to what it is right now. And I think we need to be looking at all of the programs. Like I have spoke to so many different nonprofits, and they've all said the same thing, that the temporary foreign worker program and the IMP program do not work. And I've also spoken to unions that are involved with folks that are coming through these programs, and they have said as well, employers are exploiting folks that are coming from the IMP program, which is very unfortunate. And I also know folks that have come here, like I was speaking to one individual who came 7 years ago, has opened up multiple restaurants in Vancouver, is contributing to the economy, but still is not able to get their citizenship. So I think it needs to be reevaluated and looked at again to make sure that like the folks that are coming here are able to get their citizenships properly and are able to find jobs, because even if you are a Canadian citizen now, it's hard to find a job. And even if you aren't, it's still hard to find a job. So I'm like, what's the disconnect here? Because there are jobs available, there are people coming, there's people here that can't find jobs. So I think we need to look at look at it in its entirety, because immigration isn't a bad thing. Canada is built off of the backs of immigration and small businesses. So I think we need to switch the narrative from saying that we need to stop immigration, because that's not the case, right? Because who we need folks to keep coming here to boost our economy. So I think we need to look at the way that these programs are working, and clearly they're not, and see if there's maybe a different program that can be created.
Thanks for that. We're galloping through our time here, but I got a couple more things I wanted to touch on.
Mm.
Obviously, in your writing and when we talk to our members in that space, I mean, especially retailers and Main Street businesses, retail theft, property crime, street disorder is a concern for many of them, and for the business community and the community at large. What what federal actions would you like to see, or what was the NDP prepared to do to help address what seems to be kind of the issue of kind of repeat offenders, enforcement, but also the broader social issues that seem to be contributing to this persistent challenge?
So I think locally with the small business, I have heard that as well, that they're afraid that crime rates are going to go up. So one thing, an initiative that we've been doing in Vancouver, just on my own as volunteering, is a couple every 4 to 3 months, we'll walk around with a VPD and we will go and talk to the small business and see, okay, what time of day are you noticing things happening? Is there anything happening? What would you like to see? And I think that's something that we can implement here in Cloverdale and Langley City as well, with whether it's with the RCMP or SPS. They have a great, both of them have great community services. And I was speaking to a few officers and they have also said, like, we're trying to bridge that relationship with the community. So I'm like, well, if it's working in Vancouver, why can't it work here in Surrey as well? But I think on a federal level, we definitely need to strengthen our laws, because repeat offenders, it should be a lot stronger than what it is right now. And I grew up seeing it happen, and I know a lot of other folks have said this to me as well. And the system is broken, right? The system needs to be fixed. The laws need to be a lot stronger. So I think that's one thing that needs to be looked at, is how can we make those laws stronger, that these repeat offenders are not just let out.
Well, thanks for that. Why don't I'll kind of wrap up my last question, and also we'll kind of do any closing comments you want to give to the voters here in Cloverdale, Langley City. But yeah, so is there a final remark that you want to make, and kind of if you could sum up kind of what this election is about for you, or the biggest thing that you want to leave behind for people who are going to be looking at casting their ballots in the next couple of weeks, what would that be?
This would be my last closing remarks, would be, this campaign is truly for the people. That's why we're running. It's for the people, by the people. It doesn't matter to me what your political views are. It does not matter to me if you don't even like me as a running with the NDP. If you think that I am the person that's going to continue advocating for you the way that I already have been in Ottawa through the union, then vote for me. Send me to Ottawa for the next 4 years so we can work together. Because right now, anyone that I've spoken to knows that they can either pick up the phone and call me, or send me an email, and I will get back to you, and we can have that one-on-one conversation. And I've heard time and time again that, especially from our older folks, our seniors, that it's been a very long time since they've seen their candidate at their doorstep or returning their phone calls. And it's been a very long time since they felt comfortable enough, and they knew that if we have a problem or we have something that we want to talk to her about, we know that she will get back to us, and we know that that open dialogue and open conversation will be there no matter where she is. So that's why you should vote Sharma by April 28th.
Well, Vanessa, thanks so much. Very nice to meet you. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and do this video for our members in the community, and all the best on the campaign trail.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Corey.